Hey everyone, this is Cody, and today I'm going to be reviewing the ZWO Seestar TH10 tripod head. Now, most people obviously are going to use this for their Seestar smart telescope, but you can use anything that has 1/4 inch or 3/8 inch standard photography threads as long as it doesn't weigh more than 5 kilograms with this tripod head. And I did purchase this with my own money, so no discounts or anything like that. I paid full price for it. So today I will let you know what I like about this tripod head, as well as a couple of things that I dislike about it. So go ahead and stay tuned. We'll go ahead and unbox it here first, show you what you get with the tripod head, and take it from there. So this is a pretty standard, just fluid tripod head, so you can use it for a lot of different reasons. So I open it up here and take out some of the padding. Here is the TH10 tripod head. So it is pretty small, just fits right in my hand here, which is kind of nice. Put that off to the side. And then you all also get a couple of adapters. So these can go, these are 3/8 male threaded, and then on the inside, these are 1/4 inch by 20. So if you need to adopt a 1/4 inch by 20 tripod head to 3/8 to use this, well, it comes with them, so that's nice. And then of course, the little tilt lever. So that is the entire box there. So I'll just put all this back in. Okay, so let's take a look at this a little bit. So as I mentioned, the bottom is 3/8 by 16 threaded for standard tripods. But if you have a tripod that uses a 1/4 inch by 20, you can just use one of the adapters that comes with it, and you can step that down. So if you need to go to 1/4 inch by 20, just drop in one of these adapters and thread it in. And it does come with a little key here, so in the event that you tighten it too much and it gets stuck in there for some reason, you can always get it out with those little flathead slots there. So now it's 1/4 inch by 20. I have pretty much all standard 3/8 tripods though, so I'm just going to take this out because I am not going to use it for that. Then on the other side, we have Arca Swiss, which is nice. So I'm just going to loosen this here, and this will fall out. One thing you'll notice is there's a couple of little retaining machine screws here. And so if for some reason this loosens up and it starts sliding, it won't fall out on its own. It can only fall out when it's loose enough that it can be removed from the side. So that is something that's nice. If you have a, close to the 5 kilogram weight capacity on here and it does slip, you will see that there's these little slots cut out so that those machine screws will hit into those slots and not drop it. So yeah, the only way that this will come out is basically from the side. Now, you do have a 1/4 inch by 20 bolt here, so this will, obviously be used for like your mirrorless cameras, your DSLRs, that sort of thing. And then it does have 2 adapters it comes with it. So if you're using one adapter for the bottom of the head, you can still use the other adapter for the top of the head. Installing the Arca Swiss foot to the Seestar is pretty easy. All you need to do is take one of the 3/8 to 1/4 inch adapters and drop that in the bottom of the Seestar. We'll just get that started here. There we go. And then take the tool and tighten that down. There we go. And the nice thing about this is the adapter, once it's screwed in all the way, it's recessed just a little bit under the base of the Seestar, so it does not intrude on that base at all. And then of course, you just take the Arca Swiss foot and install that to whatever orientation you want. There we go, just like that. There's a couple other cool features about this tripod head I want to show you, but before I do that, I'm just going to go ahead and thread in my tilt handle here to the side. So I'll get that started here. Okay, there we go. So yeah, some cool things about this is it also has hydraulic dampening. So if I loosen the side lock here, let me pull up, I'll hold the base and I'll pull up on it. When I let go, check this out. See that dampen out? Let me do that again, pull up on it and let go. So that dampens really nicely, and essentially what that does is when you have the Seestar on the top, it makes the controls really smooth. So that's a great touch there. And then another little neat thing is if you don't like where the final spot of these thumb screws tightens down, you can actually pull out on them like this, turn them, and change where they end up. So maybe you want to get a little bit more leverage, you can turn it down and then push on it to lock it better. And the same goes for the handle. If you pull out on this thumb screw, you can change where it locks in. So small little feature, but cool nonetheless. But yeah, overall, it's machined well. It is CNC machined, and they say, you know, it holds 11 pounds, and when they say that, I have confidence that it does. It's really well built. Okay, I've got my Neewer carbon fiber tripod here, and I'm just going to thread the TH10 tripod head on, and then we'll get the Seestar on next. Get this nice and tight. Now you want to make sure one of the tripod legs is pointing north, and then the telescope side of the Seestar that has the lenses, that's going to go over that tripod leg. So I've got the Arca Swiss shoe on here, and I can go ahead and mount the Seestar to the tripod head and tighten that down. There we go. And then now, as you can see, I am over that north tripod leg, so I can just go ahead and loosen the side here, and then you can proceed with the polar alignment process in the app, which is super simple. So nice and solid, and it does a good job. The other nice thing about this tripod head is you could get one that holds far more weight for sure, but this will hold the S50. That's pretty lightweight. That will go on here. The S30 will go on here, no problem. And it only weighs about 1 pound, slightly less than 1 pound actually. So it's not a huge, you know, beefy tripod head, but it will keep your setup lightweight, especially if you're using like a carbon fiber tripod. You know, really lightweight, smart telescope, and a lightweight tripod head keeps things really portable. Now, before I move on to polar alignment and showing you the images you can acquire in equatorial mode with the Seestar, I wanted to talk about the two things I didn't love so much about it. So the first thing is if you actually loosen it and go down quite a bit and tighten it back up, with the S50 specifically and the weight of the S50, you will notice a little bit of sag. Not a ton, but you'll probably notice it. So although it is really well built, you might get a little bit of sag if you're dropping it at those really low latitudes. So that's one thing. The other thing is, if you look on Amazon and you find the right tripod head, you'll find it's remarkably similar to the TH10. In fact, it's the exact same thing. So it's about $20 cheaper currently. Now, obviously, I know that videos get dated and prices change, but this tripod head is about $80 here in the United States. You can find the exact same tripod head on Amazon for about $60. It just does not have the Seestar logo or the TH10 printed on it. So us Americans are kind of finicky. We like our stuff to match, but if you're looking to save some money, you can basically find this exact rebranded tripod head on Amazon for $60. So really, that extra $20 is just paying for the Seestar logo, which is actually quite a bit of money if you think about it. So that is not uncommon, I would say. Like the Apertura tripod leveler, you can find this exact same thing on Amazon for much cheaper. It just doesn't have the Apertura logo on it. So a lot of stuff does get rebranded. So if you want to save some money, definitely shop around. But if you really want everything to match, definitely get the TH10 then. So it looks like I made a slight little mistake. I'm not sure how I didn't notice this, but I had the pan handle, you know, sticking off the front. It actually should be off the back. So I'm just going to loosen this. There we go. And move it to the rear. That's better. So now if I flip this, the Seestar lenses are over the north leg, which is what you want, and the pan handle is off the back here. So my mistake. The TH10 also has no problem holding the weight of the Seestar S50. In fact, it's so effective, I pretty much never use my S50 or my S30 telescopes in altitude azimuth mode. Pretty much just always equatorial mode now because it's so easy. So I will go down to my latitude here and lock that down. And you see the TH10 holds that weight no problem. Now what if you're really close to the equator and the North Star is almost right on the horizon? Well, let's keep going. So there's 0 degrees right there. I'm gonna really tighten that down. And you can see the TH10 holds it no problem. You might get a tiny little bit of sag just from that extra weight out here pulling down that little gravitational torque. But overall, it does a really good job. It's not gonna be several degrees of sag or anything like that. Just a little bit and you'll still be able to polar align no problem. So yeah, TH10, no problems holding the S50 or the S30. Makes it pretty simple to do a polar alignment. Okay, so I'm going to show you just how easy it is to polar align the Seestar with the TH10 tripod head. So let me go ahead and start screen recording here. Okay, there we go. So I need to be under the Me tab, and I'm going to go to Advanced Feature and tap on Mount Mode and make sure that that is set to EQ mode. So I'll tap on that. That's going to open up the screen and say, hey, you're currently at 89 degrees. You need to be at 40 degrees latitude. So I'm just going to do this with one hand here. I'm just going to loosen the lock on the side. And I'm going to go down to 40 degrees. You can see it moving there. Okay, right about there. Just pull it back a little bit. Okay, so I've locked it down at 40 degrees, and now all I just have to do is hit Get Polar Align Deviation, and I'm just going to tap position 2 here, and it's going to open itself up and move to that position and get my polar align deviation. Okay, so it says that I'm needing to come 5.4 degrees over in azimuth, so I'm going to loosen this, and we are just going to, oh, wrong way, move that just ever so slightly. Oh, that's pretty good. I'm going to lock that down right there. Gently lock it, let go. Oh yeah, look at that. Perfect on altitude, my azimuth looks great, and I am polar aligned. So you can hit refresh deviation if you want to, and it will redo it. And I should get pretty similar numbers. Yep, so I still look great. And now I can go back and I'm ready to image. It's that simple. So now I can image for 60 seconds and get nice round stars, and it makes a huge difference, especially with this wide field 585 sensor that I get paired with the S30 Pro. Now I want to show the average Seestar 10, 20, and 30-second exposures and compare that to the 1-minute exposures you can get when the Seestar is polar aligned and in equatorial mode. So to do that, I'm going to go ahead and image the Orion Nebula with the light pollution filter on. So let's go ahead and check it out. Okay, so there is the 10-second exposure. So on the Orion Nebula, that even brings in quite a bit of detail, but let's go ahead and kick it up to 20 seconds now. All right, the first 20-second image is about to come in here. There we go. So you can see the detail there. Bit more light obviously than the 10-second exposure, so let's go ahead and kick it up to 30 seconds now. All right, here comes the 30-second image. Oh yeah, starting to look really nice there. And now we will go to the 1-minute exposure that you can do when the Seestar is in equatorial mode. Okay, here comes the 1-minute exposure. Stars are nice and round. Looks really good for no auto guiding or anything like that. So definitely worth it, I think, to use the Seestar in equatorial mode. Now, a question you might have is, what is the best tripod for the TH10? Well, throughout the video, you saw me using a standard photographic tripod, so that really does work nicely. The tripod that comes with the Seestar S30 Pro does work, but puts it really close to the ground, and you're always just a little bit nervous that it's going to tip over. So it works, but it's not the best, I would say. I think the best, for sure, is the ZWO TC20 carbon fiber tripod that comes with the Seestar S50. They also sell it as a standalone unit as well. Has adjustable legs, you can get it off the ground a little bit, and you don't have to worry about the Seestar tipping over with the TH10s. It's important to note that ZWO specifically does not recommend using the TC20 tripod, the TH10 head, and the Seestar S50 all together in equatorial mode if you're below 15 degrees latitude. So if I drop this below 15 degrees and slew it around, you can see that the base of the Seestar runs the risk of hitting the tripod legs, which obviously you want to avoid. So if you are below 15 degrees latitude, I'd recommend just using a standard photographic tripod like I did throughout this video, and then just make sure your Seestar is not going to hit those tripod legs. For those of us above 15 degrees latitude, well, this is the combination I would recommend. The TC20 is lightweight, and it's going to be a stable base for your TH10 and your Seestar. Is the TH10 a good value? Well, that's up to you. If you like to keep your branding all the same with your Seestar, it works great. If you want to go off-brand and save some money for essentially the same product, you can do that as well. But either way, you're getting a pretty good tripod head for polar aligning the Seestars. All right, everyone, that wraps up my review of the Seestar TH10 equatorial tripod head. Just to summarize real quick here, it is very light at 491 grams, or just under 1 pound, so it's not going to add a lot of weight to your setup, but it can hold a mass of up to 5 kilograms, or 11 pounds. It can tilt 90 degrees forward and 90 degrees backward, and rotate 360 degrees, making it an excellent host for the Seestar Smart Telescopes in equatorial mode. So really, there's no excuse not to polar align my Seestar and use it equatorially all the time. Anyway, I appreciate you watching today. Have a great day and clear skies.